Hello, YouTube. I am your host, the Crimson Warrior, and today I wanted to bring you guys a better review of the Dreamers Edition art book that comes with Link's Awakening Dreamers Edition because I feel that my previous version on my review wasn't good and I could provide better angles. So let's get into it, shall we? Here we are, getting right on into it, starting with the cover, and let me just say that I love the cover art of this book and just this game in general. It's just absolutely amazing how the dreamlike qualities just run throughout and how that's actually important for how life is. Here's Link fighting the waves and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening logo and the beautiful Koholint Islands as Link shipwrecks upon. Here we go, seeing the first instrument. And now we start getting into the concept art. So it looks like they started doing prototypes for the chibi-like form of Link before settling more so on to the current very toy-esque form that we are used to. And then this concept art looks like it's used for the anime in the beginning, like shield and sword. Here we get a little miniaturized picture of Koholint Islands, really adorable in that like condensed way, showing the house of the quadruplets and the square and the egg of the windfish. Some prototypes of the houses, and you can see that they kind of settled on a lot of different designs. A lot of them kind of Wind Waker-esque over here. These two remind me of the Wind Waker, but they kind of settled on like these simpler designs, which I think was a good choice. Here we go with the mob village and interiors. And I like how we kind of get almost a 16-bit representation in some of these of how the houses would have looked in the Game Boy version if they would have looked a little bit better. Here we get Marin and Terran, our dynamic duo that we first meet as we get onto the islands. Here they kind of seems like they created everyone in the anime aesthetic first before slowly bringing them to a toys to life sort of fashion. Old man Yurira, I probably butchered that completely, with his phone booth and advice, constantly giving you good advice, but who won't talk to you in person, very weirdly. But everyone has their quirks. Here we get the quadruplets house, the start of the trading quest, if you didn't know, and that's all I'm gonna tell you because that is necessary for progression, and it helps a little bit to know that it kind of starts there with what the mom wants. The quadruplets and the is that how the house looks? Maybe that is how the house looks. I wonder if that's concept or finished. I'll have to play the game and see and go back into the house and look. I'm still not finished. I'm on Dungeon 3 still. Here you get this raccoon. It took me a second to figure out how to get past this raccoon. He was angering me, but I finally got it. Moblins. It's so weird. They kind of started out with that like bulldog design. Really weird. I'm glad they kind of went with the more traditional moblin that we're kind of used to. This is the witch's hut. It was really cool finding this area for the first time in the game. It had a lot of personality, and it felt like you were approaching a mystery, which is, I mean, the whole game feels like that, but it's nice little miniaturized version shows you how that is. And here's the witch, which she started off a lot more aggressive looking almost, and kind of turned out simpler, less aggro, I guess you could say. Tail cave, an owl statue. And here we get a little bit of a look at the 2D dungeon design, which is just absolutely amazing. I love when they include the the Game Boy original, so you can kind of see what they were working with when they were reimagining it, basically. Up close in detail. That's so ominous. Rock's Feather, the Spike Roller. You've seen him from pretty simple gameplay footage if you've watched any coverage on the game so far. Madame Meow Meow's house with the chain chomp that you get to rescue eventually. And Madame Meow Meow herself, who's a little bit flippant, but it is what it is. Got Borblin, which is interesting. It went through many weird phases, and I want to say we've kind of seen all of these different forms of Borblin at one point, if they've been in other games. There's Telltale Heights and the Moblin Chief. This kind of reminds me of something out of Twilight Princess. The Gopanga Swamp and some of the artwork that goes with that. This area is where things kind of start to open up to you. You're starting to get your bearings, and you rescue a friend, and you're starting to get mobility with the Rock's Feather and all of that, and the game really starts to pick up, which has excellent pacing throughout, mind you. That is creepy. So far I'm 3 dungeons in. The game's been just an absolute blast. It's a dream to play through, all puns intended. I love these 2D levels that feel really Mario-esque, that make the whole game feel like it's a fever dream of my favorite old Nintendo games, because I'll admit it, I'm nostalgic. I grew up playing Nintendo. What's surprising, though, honestly, is that I grew up playing Pokemon more than anything. Like, my love of Nintendo started with the Pokemon franchise, and coming out of my childhood, well, I played tidbits of Zelda here and there, but not until I was over 10 would I say that I began to seriously play around with the Zelda series, starting with Ocarina of Time, given to me by a friend of the family's, and walking, I think it was 1,000 laps around my house once to get a copy of A Link to the Past for the Game Boy Advance, which is probably one of the games I put the most hours into, besides my copy of Emerald and my copy of Silver and Crystal. Here we go. I really loved this part of the game because it really starts to make you think, and let me just say that the monkey is your clue. That's all you get, though. You meet a really interesting character, the prince. Did they show him on the page before? Did I accidentally skip him? I was talking about yep, I did. Richard. Which he's an interesting character. A little bit of a coward who flees his castle, but when everyone goes crazy, what can you do? Ball and Chain Trooper. And the Key Cavern. This is where I am at currently. I'm just after this. This is where the game really starts to open up exploration-wise, thanks to another item you get. And honestly, if you're playing the game, don't give up until after you get here, because it's so fun, and there should be no reason you give up. It's such a fun game. Key Cavern passageway, more of the Mario-esque sections and enemies, which just adds so much character to this game. I love how it feels like an amalgamation of all of my favorite Nintendo games, other than Pokemon, like I was talking about before. Other than that, the first, I put so many hours into A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time. And the first time I played Ocarina of Time, I couldn't beat it. I beat the first 3 dungeons, and my child brain couldn't comprehend the forest temple the second I got to it, and it was really just a mess. I couldn't figure it out. I got stuck with not being able to find one key and couldn't figure it out. And then I picked it up again early in high school, I think, and I played it got through the Forest Temple and just charged through the rest of the game, and it was so much fun. And I mean, gaming had advanced so much at that point that you think an old Zelda adventure on the N64 would be the last thing that holds my attention, excuse me. But I had a beef with that game for the longest time. Both Ocarina of Time and A Link to the Past, I couldn't beat on my first playthrough, and A Link to the Past, I still haven't given my real second playthrough. I had started it right before this game came out, and then this game really distracted me because of its beautiful, cute charm and new Nintendo feel, new Nintendo paint job. I love the old Nintendo catalog, but getting to see these reimagined games really gets me excited. I'm all for bringing these old favorites into the modern age. Like, just look at this level design. It's gorgeous. And just so nostalgic. Like, there's nothing hard about those 2D bits. I've gone through them. They're actually really easy, but it's more so the feeling they evoke. It's not the difficulty. It's how it makes you feel, and getting that in a Zelda game, which is truly unexpected. Mondo and Ghost. I'm starting to get into concept art I'm a little bit unfamiliar with because this is farther than I am on the island. There's spoilers for the trade quest, basically. And then the mermaid. I haven't gotten to her yet. But she has cute artwork, that's for sure. Catfish Ma. So I'm assuming there's a huge beach section that I'm missing out on. The owl has told me to go to the desert after I got through the third dungeon, so I'm not sure what the order of events is after that. Catfish Maw passageway. This looks like a more challenging 2-bit section, or 2D section, I mean. Well, it's all 2D, really. It's just different top-down 2D and side view 2D. Master Stalfos. I hope this is a cool boss. A lot of the bosses are really easy in this game, but I feel like difficulty is not really the point. Like, this game's really the journey and the experience, which has just been absolutely amazing so far, and I can't wait to get through it. A triangle. Ancient ruins, where you learn the secrets of the game that are heavily hinted at, and if you're an adult, you've probably guessed that by now, but I'm trying not to spoil for most people who haven't figured it out yet. This is the tablet that spells out the truth to you. I know the storyline already because I watched King K's retrospective because I was super excited for this coming out, and I had everything spoiled, and I tend to spoil everything for myself, but that doesn't mean that you guys should or that that's a good practice. I enjoy it, so that's what I do. In certain games, I won't do that with, like, please do not say anything about The Last of Us 2. I want The Last of Us 2 to be a special experience, and I hope I can still get the collector's edition at GameStop. I'm not sure how much of a hot ticket item that's going to be. I should probably go pick that up today. The Face Shrine. I wonder how you beat this guy. Like, I've seen footage, but that's one of the few things that hasn't been spoiled for me, is no one's told me what's going on with him. Mamu, the hen house, and the flying rooster. Hen housekeeper, and some of the hazards you face throughout the dungeon. Eagle's Tower, which is really similar to the last dungeon and Majora's Mask. Not the last one, but is it the Tower of Ascension, maybe? I'm not sure. It's been a minute since I've played that game. Evil Eagle. Oh, wow. I feel like I just saw this guy in the Dragon Quest previews for the Dragon Quest 11. Tall mountain range. Turtle Croc. He looks like an interesting boss. Stone-like. This is really getting reminiscent of Bowser's Castle in Mario, almost. Fire. Blano, Magic Rod, and the Hothead, and the owl who helps you throughout your journey. The Windfish's egg, which you can actually access really early in the game. I was surprised. I was exploring around and I found the egg by accident. It was interesting, but you can't do anything with it until you have all of the instruments of the sirens and you play the Windfish's ballad. Kind of the end fever dream levels. Link and Marin standing out looking at the ocean. The sail crocodile you meet at the beginning of the game. Goria and the boomerang that you get. Oh, almost missed a page. Crazy Tracy and the Seashell Mansion. I can't wait to find this place. I already have the amount of seashells I need to find the seashell detector. Blue Goo Spectre, Gar and Dion, Hard Hit Beetle, Avalanche. Oh god, that reminds me of Stone Taluses from Breath of the Wild. Raft Shop Owner, Guardian Acorn, Piece of Power, Seashell Sensors. Getting into the last bit of concept art here. But this game just has such just a fun quality to it, and if you're looking for an awesome Zelda adventure that's 9 to 12 hours, this is an awesome adventure to go on and experience. And here's a nostalgic bit on the last little this is the original map on the Game Boy, which is awesome. I love these. I'm probably gonna go back and play this eventually once I can find a copy of it. And there's end artwork of the Windfish. And that was the book reviews, guys. What did you think? I went off on a couple tangents there. You guys got to see some awesome artwork. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Comment down below. Tell me what you thought. Did you enjoy my ramblings? Do you like Link's Awakening? If you enjoy my content, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss an upload, because it ain't stopping now. Peace, guys.